Hi, my name's Chelsea, and I am a ballet teacher with over 25 years of experience in the classroom. And I also have a Master's of Fine Arts degree with an emphasis in ballet teaching methods. I really strongly believe that what we do in the classroom should relate directly to what the students do on stage. It should serve a greater purpose. Classwork should relate to performance. Ballet is a performing art. Part of what that means is that we cannot only teach technique in our classes. We have to also teach approaches to artistry. It's not fair to our very hardworking students if we don't try to help them with artistry. And then we just say, well, you either have it or you don't, sink or swim. That's not fair. There are lots and lots of elements of artistry. There are lots and lots of different ways that we can try to help students. The more elements of artistry that we can expose our students to, that we can coach our students with, the better prepared they are to be expressive artists on stage. So let's dive in. We are going to talk today about the element of artistry of line. Line can refer to three things, and then it sometimes refers to a fourth thing. It cannot refer to this. This is not okay. This thing that line does not refer to is body shaming. People far too often have historically said that various bodies cannot be successful in ballet because they can't achieve the correct line. That is lazy on the part of the evaluator. Or it's just a blatant preference for, oh, I don't know, let's go with prepubescent girls who are super skinny and you can see their ribs. That's totally unhealthy. Totally unhealthy. You know who I'm talking about, and it was gross. Line is not body shaming. So let's talk about the three things that line is. Line can refer to your alignment. That one was pretty obvious. Line can refer to how you are stretching through your physical body. And line can also refer to how you are connecting your movements to give the illusion of like cursive writing or a doodle where the pen never leaves the page. Those are the three definitions or facets of line that we're going to talk about. Facet number one is alignment. This is where we start with everybody. This one also is like this element of artistry is also a fundamental of technique. Alignment does both. It's like a two birds, one stone situation. We need to make sure that we have aligned the skeleton in a way that both meets the ballet aesthetic and provides easeful movement. If we are gripping, that's not easeful movement. We're never going to look expressive on stage unless the expression is terror. Gripping and terror go together really well, but nothing else. Particularly with the early years of training, like the foundations and elementary divisions, we focus a lot on core strength so that we can hold the alignment. We focus a lot on, especially in level 2, we focus a lot on passing through your first position as part of your transitions and making sure that our first position is aligned and we haven't accidentally stuck something out funny. We talk about coordinating the first position arms with the first position feet. So we're passing through what is commonly called the gateway. So we take alignment from a thing that is static and it becomes something that moves with us. And this later develops into a plome, into all kinds of other really fun things. But at its very most basic, before we can do any other fun things with line, we need to be able to stand in alignment, and then we need to be able to move in alignment. The next progression in line is the ability to extend lines, or the illusion that your body is taking up more space than it really does. Extending your lines has a lot to do with how you are using your joints. Are you flexing them? Are you extending them? Are you flexing them a little bit? Like a port-a-bras, the elbow is in very mild flexion and a little bit of rotation, but it's not fully flexed. It's definitely not fully straightened, and that gives the illusion of a longer line. How are we stretching through the ankle joint? That's another one. Being aware of what your joints are doing and modulating the amount of flexion and extension really, really helps contribute to this extension of line. This progression of line dovetails really well with like the intermediate division, where we start talking about épaulement and we talk about épaulet, and extensions start getting higher. We start asking more of that basic alignment. And then, of course, the most mysterious application of line would be the ability to connect movements in a way that makes it all seem like one movement. And that is refined at the very most advanced levels, but it gets started way, way sooner. Really, when you're looking at connecting lines and giving the illusion that 6 steps were one movement, you're talking about transitions, which are basically just transfer of weight. We've been doing transfer of weight for ages. Like, you do it with your little pre-ballet kids. You know, you sway forward and back, you do transfer of weight. And then in the elementary division, you transfer the weight through the gateway so that the arms and the legs and the head are all coordinated together. And then when you're in the intermediate division, we look at transfer of weight through the air. So this is something that has been building, but the advanced dancer looks at it in a really profound way. When an advanced dancer looks at connecting their movement, sustaining their line, they're applying a lot of different things other than just vocabulary. They're taking the alignment from their earlier training. They're taking their elongation of line, which means fully using their body and their joint range of motion from their intermediate training. And then they're layering that in with other elements of artistry. They are making choices about how they want to use their head coordination to facilitate and accentuate that movement. They are using dynamics and their quality of movement to add shading to these things. So what seems like this really difficult to define, like, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Yeah, they are so beautiful. That dancer that you're thinking of right now, so beautiful. And the way that they move is amazing. And the reason you can watch them all day long is because of the way that they weave all of these things together. This is why we need to start teaching line from the very beginning. Artistry is not something that can be tacked on at the end of training. In order for a dancer to be an artist, they need to develop their artistry and their technique skills at the same rate. So it's really important to be finding ways to incorporate and exploring the element of line all throughout training. Of course, I have thought about this a lot. I think too much. On my website, I do have a page specifically dedicated to elements of artistry. Line is included, but you can look at some of the other elements that I work on in my classes on a regular basis. You also can sign up for my monthly newsletter, and every month I pick a different element of artistry to dive in a little bit more deeply. You also can find the curriculum that I have designed and that I have been using for well over a decade now on my website. It's geekyballerina.com. And as always, I hope you have a really, really great class.